Hey there, today let's talk about email. And since it should be that central hub of your course business, I want to talk about what you should be looking for in an email tool, maybe whether or not you should be switching to a different one, and some of the key things and gotchas to make sure you know about them. So let's get to it.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here's your host, Julie Hood.
Hey there! Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have you with me today for episode 218 of the podcast. And make sure if you want to follow up on any of the links that we're talking about, you can go to coursecreatorshq.com/218. There's a bunch of stuff there, including some free gifts if you want to go sign up for some free training, and there's a free planner, which is perfect timing right now. Plus, I'm going to have the links to some of the tools that I'm mentioning. So if you're curious, I'd appreciate you using those. Those are my affiliate links, and we get a little commission as you sign up. So thanks for being here. And this is one of those like core concepts to a successful online business that's not always as exciting as some of the other things, but boy, is it important to making sure that your business is running well and making sure that everything falls together properly. So because this is so important, I've also put links to some related episodes because we've talked about email quite a bit on the podcast. So there's 5 more episodes about different email things, and you can check those out in the show notes too. So lots of good stuff this week in the notes for you. And as we're going through here, you can see, depending on where you are, you maybe have started and now you're ready to upgrade, or maybe you're wondering if you should be upgrading. That's one of the pieces that I want to talk about a little bit today. And before we get started though, let me describe for you 2 different types of programs. The first one is where the primary core function of the tool is to run your email program and send out what's often called a broadcast message, or to set up funnels where people can go through and get automatic messages from you. And they are very, very focused on making email your central hub and making that functionality work well for you. So this would be things like ConvertKit, which is now called Kit, ActiveCampaign, Aweber, Drip is the one I use, and those tools started as email tools, and they've added on some functionality, but in general, their purpose is to run your email list. And then the other type of program that you'll come across are the all-in-one tools to run your entire online business, and they often have email functionality built in, so they run everything much more smoothly. So I'll talk about what I mean by that in a moment, but they maybe don't have as many of the cool tools around email, but they're a lot less complicated and a lot less stressful to work with. So these all-in-one tools are things like Kajabi, Go High Level, some of those different kinds of tools. And I'm going to throw in right now, depending on when you're listening to this, Kajabi has this incredible special that's just about to end. In fact, they extended it for just a few more days because it was so popular. And it is to give you half off for an entire year of working through the program and getting everything set up. And because I love the way the student experience is so much, if you sign up for Kajabi with my link, my affiliate link, I will give you 10 weeks of free coaching with me, plus a $2,000 worth of my courses. and this Kajabi Kickstart course, which will walk you through how to get set up and how to get things going and the order to do them in. Because the cool thing about all-in-one tools is they can do a lot for you. But when you get into them, the more complex tools also are a little bit more complicated to set up. So I want to walk you through it and help you as you get stuck with the coaching. And so come join me for that. It's running through November 15th of 2024 if you're listening to this later. But if you're catching this and can still jump in, we'd love to have you. Okay, back to email and some things to be thinking about. And the first one is to consider whether or not you want to use an all-in-one tool. And the great thing about using an all-in-one tool is that you don't have to have fancy connections between your tools to make them work together. So for example, when someone signs up for a course with you, they can automatically be added to an email list so that you can email the students of the course directly from the system, and you don't have to have any fancy connections or fancy setups. And I will tell you, it is so much less stress, especially if you're not one of the folks that really likes the tech side of things. You definitely want to pick one of these all-in-one tools, because I started kind of piecemeal through the years and have collected this big swath of tools. And so I'm constantly trying to get them to work together better, and some of the connections will break and then it creates some chaos, like why isn't this working? So if you can have an all-in-one tool that will do your landing pages, do your opt-ins, do your email list, run your email newsletter for you all in one place along with your courses and your coaching, it's a lot less stressful. Okay, so that's number one, whether or not you want to use an all-in-one tool. Number two, does the tool create landing pages for you? And by this, I mean a page on a website where people can opt in to your freebie. Is that included with the email tool? If not, you can do like me and you can use something like LeadPages, which creates landing pages for you, and then you connect it to your email tool so that when people opt in, it goes over and it adds them to the email tool. And I'll put the link in here for LeadPages so you can get started with them if you're interested. What I love about them is they are easy to pull people in and create nice looking pages. But once again, we got that connection that we have to make work. So sometimes there's a challenge with that. So check with the email tool that you're looking at, does it create landing pages for you? Number three, the third thing to look at, what's the automation functionality like? So very simple automation would be to send a welcome message. When somebody signs up for your free gift, it automatically replies and says, hey, thanks for signing up. Here's your free gift. So glad you're here. That's the simple level of email automation. And then from there, you can add all kinds of complicated funnels and automations where if they click on this, they go this direction through, and kind of think of it as a flow chart. And depending on what they do, what your subscriber does, it controls how they flow through this flow chart and what kind of information they get. It's a pretty advanced concept that you don't necessarily need to do right away. I don't want you to be wasting time on this and thinking, oh, I got to have a funnel. I got to have this big complex funnel. You do not have to have that to get started. But as you expand, having some of that functionality can be super helpful. So that's number three. Number four, and this is a big one for me. This is probably my most important one, actually, as I'm looking at an email tool. And that is, how easy is it to create an email and send it out? And so I've used a bunch of different tools for doing email creation. And some of them are literally as easy as sitting down and typing, like you're typing into a Google Doc or a Word doc. And you add in images really easily, and you put in links and you put in buttons, and it's quick options, which is what my tool has, the one I use called Drip, and why I pay more for it, because if I can crank out an email in a half an hour that would take me an hour and a half or 2 hours in another tool, then I've saved all that time and it's worth paying a few extra dollars for. So when you're testing out different options and different tools, you definitely want to go in and check the email creation options. Make sure that you can crank out an email pretty quickly. So some of the tools I've used in the past, like every time you want to add a button, you have to add a new section and you have to break the text apart, and it's just time consuming and complicated. Like I just want to be able to sit down and type, and then when I want a button, I say put a button here. When I want an image, I say put an image here. So check out how easy it is to create those emails. Number 5, does it have or do you need any automatic integration with your other tools? So, for example, when I use Samcart to take orders, it has an automatic integration with Drip so that I can put people on the list for that tool on the email segment, the email list, specifically for that product that they've purchased. And it's an automatic integration, so that means I don't have to use, sometimes you'll see that they integrate, but they make you use Zapier in between. So that Zapier is a tool that sits in the middle and says, oh, Samcart triggers it and says, hey, somebody made a purchase. Zapier gets the trigger and then goes out and says, oh, I need to send this person over and put them into your email list over here on ActiveCampaign. So what ends up happening is not only do you have to pay for Zapier, it tends to break a lot. So you're constantly having to go in and fix this connection between the tools. So if you need to connect things up, check and see, does the integration happen automatically or do you need to use Zapier to integrate multiple tools? Number 6, check your costs, and especially as your email size rises. So this is one of those things that can catch you off guard in that they may have some great, free for your first 500 subscribers or free up to 1,000 subscribers. But then once you get your business going and you start growing and you hit 5,000 or you hit 10,000 subscribers, the cost goes up significantly. So just check. I kind of got burned on this one with Drip because my costs went up exponentially from the beginning. And I'm still hanging in there. We will see how long I go. Just because, like I said, it's so easy to crank out emails. Plus, I've got all of the setup already done, so I'd have to redo all of that. But I will throw in one more thing. A colleague of mine uses a tool called Bird Send. I don't think it has a lot of integrations, but it is more inexpensive to use. So Bird Send, if you want to check that one out. The other thing is to kind of really check that number growth and see how the cost increases. I don't think BirdSend increases depending on how many subscribers you have, or not as fast as some of the other tools. That's number 6. Number 7, watch out for some of the older tools that have been around for a while, because what I see happening is they bolt on new functionality. But when they do this, it's complicated and messy. So this is one of the reasons I cannot stand MailChimp. When the last time I've used it, and originally MailChimp was free, so lots and lots of people jumped on. But what they did is they bolted on the functionality to have more than one lead magnet. And unless they fix this, it was such a pain in the neck trying to email out to multiple lists when you would have, let's say, 3 different lead magnets and then trying to email everyone. It was just such a hassle. So not a big fan of MailChimp. So run far away from that one. There are so many better ones. I think ConvertKit is a lot better. I like ActiveCampaign. However, their pricing seemed to have jumped quite a bit. So check on that one for pricing. Like I said, I use Drip, and then the all-in-one tools remove some of these headaches. So, number 8, moving your list. So this is an important one if you are bringing a list from a different tool and you're trying to switch over to a new tool. One of the things you definitely need to find out is, do the email addresses have to reconfirm with you in order to move them over? And you don't want to have to reconfirm, because a lot of people won't see those reconfirmation messages and you will hurt your list. You'll lose a bunch of subscribers when you move to that tool. So I'm not sure anymore if this is still the case with Aweber, but it used to be with Aweber. If you would bring in a list, you had to have everybody reconfirm that they really wanted to be on your list. So depending on where you're at with that, just make sure you've checked. Does everybody have to reconfirm, or can you move your list in from another tool? Number 9, check on double opt-in functionality. So what this is when somebody signs up and fills out your form, they want your freebie, they first get an email message that says, confirm that you really did sign up and that you really wanted this free gift. Please click this link and confirm. They click the link and then they get another message with the welcome that says, here's your free gift, and you've signed up. So it's called double opt-in because they have to not only enter their information, they also have to confirm that they really did enter it in. And the reason this came about is there were some spammers for some reason that were using people's email addresses, and the double opt-in is supposed to help with that. Some countries do have requirements around this that you have to have double opt-in turned on. So type into Google, find out, do you have legal rules in your jurisdiction that you have to have double opt-in turned on? If you do not turn it on. It is just a way to lose a big chunk of your subscribers, because a lot of times those confirmation emails get missed. They go into spam. People forget. They don't click them. So it's just a way to lose subscribers that you want to make sure that you can keep up with. So if you don't have to use double opt-in, do not use it. Number 10, email deliverability. And this one is such a complicated concept. So I'm going to try to simplify it down into just a couple sentences, but please know there's a lot that's involved in delivering your emails and making sure they get to the people that you want them to get and to receive them. And it gets even more complicated as your list size grows. So back when I was working with a client, we had over 200,000 email addresses, and we spent so much time on deliverability and making sure that messages got through, and there's just a lot to it. But I will say there's a couple settings that you need to turn on. It's kind of a technical settings. It's called DMARC and DKIM and SPM, I believe, is the third one. So I'm not going to go into what those are, but just know that they help with deliverability once you set them up. It's kind of a one-time technical thing. And if you're not technical, either ask your email program, they will help you, or get somebody that can help you through that can help you get those in place, because it does help make sure and confirm that your emails are from you and that they should be delivered. And then number 11, this is the last one that I want you to think about, and that is watch your numbers. Watch your numbers on your email list. And by this, primarily I mean click-through rates. So you want to be paying attention to how many people are clicking through your emails and which emails are getting the most clicks. So the good thing about this is that you can use these features to pay attention to what subject lines could be working the best, maybe placement of buttons. There's just so much you can pull through that. Plus, if you notice that something didn't get a good click-through rate, you can start analyzing why that didn't happen. So paying attention to those numbers are really, really important. I will say the open numbers are not very valuable anymore. For everybody who's using Apple tools, Apple has totally ruined the open rate numbers because of privacy. So they've turned off, and email folks can't tell anymore if Apple emails are getting opened. The main thing I try to do is watch trends, and I don't know really how accurate that is even anymore, because sometimes the numbers could be skewed a bit. So open rates aren't nearly as effective as click-through rates. So that was a very, very quick 20-minute high level, all the things I could throw together when you're thinking about your email program. And then check out some of those other episodes if you want some more details on things that could be related. So there's an episode more about funnels. There's some more about mistakes and maybe reasons why email isn't working. I've got another one that's about the 6 C's of email marketing, and then just general email marketing secrets way back at episode 38. So lots and lots of stuff for you to consider. And the reason I want you to be looking at this is that email is essential for your business. It's the thing that you own. It's your asset, and it's actually where a lot of people buy. So they get your emails and they sign up. So excited that you made it to the end of this episode. Check out the show notes if you need those 11 different things to be considering as you're looking at different tools. And thanks for using the affiliate links in this week's show notes. I so appreciate you listening and joining and following and subscribing and reviewing when you have a chance of this podcast. It's one of my favorite ways to get to connect with you every week. And thanks for being here. Thanks for spreading your message and making the world a better place with your wisdom and your brilliance. I appreciate you, and I know it takes a lot to be that expert and be out there. So thanks for doing it, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.